We're starting off with AEW, as AEW's Grand Slam Australia had plenty of buzz leading up to the event, but now it's the alleged sighting of WWE Women's Champion Rhea Ripley that has everyone talking. A photo circulating online claims to show Ripley at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, and given her relationship with AEW's Buddy Matthews, it wouldn't be surprising if she were in attendance. However, whether the person in the viral image is actually Ripley remains a topic of debate. Ringside News has confirmed that Ripley was indeed at the event, but whether the individual in the image is truly her is still uncertain. The speculation began when multiple fans at the venue reported seeing Ripley, and shortly after, the now viral photo emerged, with many insisting it was her, yet no conclusive evidence has surfaced linking the image to Ripley. The mystery surrounding her presence continues, and we at Slat Rock Wrestling will keep you updated as more details unfold. Do you think the person in the photo is really Rhea Ripley, or is this just a case of mistaken identity? Share your thoughts in the comments. As the event unfolded at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, frustrations among fans reached a boiling point. While excitement was high, many attendees felt shortchanged after spending thousands on seats that didn't match their expectations. One fan took to Twitter stating, "Paid $2,000 for hard cam side seats at AEW Grand Slam just to get here and not be anywhere close. Nice." The backlash goes beyond seat placement. Originally, AEW planned Grand Slam Australia as a stadium show at Suncorp Stadium, but quietly downsized to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre due to low ticket sales. While that decision may have been necessary, what truly angered fans was AEW's failure to offer refunds or price adjustments to those who had paid premium stadium prices. Many are now calling out the company for taking their money without delivering what was promised. Additionally, some fans noted that their signs were confiscated based on size, as Brisbane Entertainment Centre stated anything bigger than A4 was being taken away. Many fans were upset that they weren't informed about this prior to arriving at the event. Was AEW wrong to handle the seating situation this way? Should the company have offered refunds or price adjustments? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. As soon as Tony Khan's name was announced during the show, the Brisbane Entertainment Centre erupted in boos. The AEW president attempted to push through the negativity, calling Grand Slam Australia a dream come true, hyping it as one of the greatest nights in AEW history. Khan then made a bold promise, assuring fans that this wouldn't be AEW's last time in Australia. While that remark earned some cheers, the damage was already done. The overwhelming boos reflected fan frustration, particularly over seating controversies and the treatment of premium ticket holders who felt ripped off. What do you think of Tony Khan getting booed in Australia? Was it justified given the controversies surrounding the event? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Over to NXT Vengeance Day, as Stephanie Vaquer has been feuding with Fatal Influence for weeks, and after defeating both Jacy Jayne and Jasmine Nix, challenged Fallon Henley for the NXT Women's North American title. Both stars delivered an intense performance, and despite multiple interference attempts from Jayne and Nix, who attacked Vaquer while the referee was distracted, she stood her ground. Vaquer overcame the odds, emerging victorious to become the new NXT Women's North American Champion, the first South American woman to win gold in WWE. While some may argue that she's already above the Women's North American Championship, her reign could help elevate the title's prestige, with potential challengers already lined up. Jada Parker, Kalani Jordynne, and Carmen Petrovic watched in the crowd, teasing they could face Vaquer, and speaking of the crowd, they were firmly behind Vaquer with loud Stephanie chants. Now Vaquer holds the gold, and her ongoing friendly rivalry with Giulia promises to push both competitors to outdo one another. As for this match, it was strong overall, though it may have run a bit long, as the pacing dipped in the middle stretch, but the title change was well received by fans. NXT Vengeance Day saw Fraxiom lock horns with Josh Briggs and Yokishi Inamura with the NXT Tag Team titles on the line, and the champs started strong by showing their dominance. The challengers eventually took control, though, with all stars involved putting on an incredible display, with fans being treated to Fraxiom's high flying and raw strength by Briggs and Inamura. At one point, Inamura displayed that raw power by picking up both opponents, which drew a big reaction from the crowd, but during the later stages, Fraxiom regained the control. They showcased why they're one of WWE's hottest tag teams by retaining after hitting Inamura with their signature diving front dropkick and leg sweep combo. Post-match, a mysterious stable took out the champs and the challengers in their debut, and Corey Graves was able to identify Dion Lennox and Cutler James. Graves couldn't identify the other two Performance Center talent, and after the group took out everyone, they left the ring to "Who Are You" chants from the crowd. Well, it turns out the four were Lennox, James, Osiris Griffin, and Saquon Sugars, though it's unclear who the leader of the group is or what their mission will be. Fans don't even know the name of the faction, but the group certainly sent a painful message during NXT Vengeance Day. It'll be interesting to see what Shawn Michaels does with this group, but despite them and Fraxiom being the secret weapons of NXT, the MVP of all this was Inamura. He's barely worked a match with NXT yet has gotten over big time with what he's done and was physically explosive as he threw the champions around. With each successful title defense, it's harder to imagine the next team will dethrone Fraxiom, and this would have been a powerful statement had Briggs and Inamura won. Trick Williams dominated his strap match early on, but Eddie Thorpe stayed in the fight and eventually caught Trick between the legs with the strap and a running knee for the win. It's rare to see matches this physical in WWE as Thorpe dragged Williams down to the level he thrives in and looked as good as he ever has in NXT. This is a match that could prove Williams' worth on the main roster as he needs to be able to lay in shots against opponents that will lay it in right back. No one since Ilya Dragunov has pulled this out of Williams and made him look this dangerous, and this was a huge showcase for Thorpe in perhaps his biggest WWE win to date. It's difficult to build fresh heels in the main event, especially if they don't win in the big moments, and luckily, NXT wasn't afraid to give Trick the loss this time. Now Thorpe has shown that he can back up everything he says, and this could easily lead to another showdown inside the NXT Underground. Javon Evans came out fighting against Ethan Page, but one punch to the mouth and a twisted grin was enough to put down the still injured young OG. Much like the previous match, this contest was about showing that one of NXT's best youngsters can get physical, as Evans was flying throughout, but also hit his moves with impact. Major kudos have to be given to Page, who bumped big for Evans, but Javon also delivered with an aggressive focus and sold well for All Ego. With a tight pace, Evans' wild style, and Page's technical prowess, this was great, and having Page focus for the majority of the match on Evans' ankle made the jaw shot more shocking. Page winning was the right call, as a win for Evans would have likely ended the rivalry, but now NXT can continue to build the young OG as the underdog seeking revenge. Oba Femi struggled with the best plans and plots of A-Town Down Under, but ultimately sent Grayson Waller into Austin Theory before hitting fall from Grace on Waller to win. Afterward, the lights went out and the masked men from earlier surrounded the ring to batter the NXT champion with forearm strikes and a four-man powerbomb. This match was a pure highlight reel thanks in part to Femi's infectious energy, as the crowd were completely behind him, destroying his competition. Since his opponents were Theory and Waller, two main roster talents, it never felt like the ruler was in any real danger, but a title change wasn't the purpose of this match. Instead, it was about elevating the championship, showing that talent across WWE want the NXT title, and Waller and Theory certainly showed they wanted the gold. The first time A-Town Down Under cleared Femi out of the ring, the pair teased squaring up, but the ruler dragged Waller outside before they went any further. The presentation of NXT's new stable was better than their first appearance, which was helped by adding dramatic lighting to this appearance by the foursome. That said, this presentation was hurt by the odd choice to add music during their attack, and it's clear that WWE are trying to recreate the magic of the Shield's 2012 debut. From the skull masks to invading through the crowd to the powerbomb, this is very Shield, but recreating that group is an incredibly high ceiling for all those involved. This probably should have been the only time the group appeared at Vengeance Day, but either way, NXT certainly made some new stars overnight at their latest event. Before the NXT Women's title was put on the line in the main event, Stephanie Vaquer was in the locker room and promised to stick around to see the match in full. As the match progressed, the action broke down with Roxanne Perez blasting Bayley with pop rocks only to eat a jaded by frenemy Cora Jade. Giulia arrived to hit Jade with a Arrivederci before hitting another on Perez before another lights bomb scored the win for the Beautiful Madness. Stephanie Vaquer came out to celebrate with Giulia before Jordynne Grace arrived to stare down both champions to end the show on a serious cliffhanger. We'll have to see what the future holds, but Grace will shake things up in NXT, and it remains to be seen how long it takes for her to hold one of those titles. This title match being changed to a four-way at the last minute changed the complexion of the contest, though delivered more action than the drama fans predicted from Jade. On paper, this was the best match of the night and deserving of the main event, but it could not keep up with the rest of the show in terms of physical drama. Everyone hit their spots for the camera, but the pace felt fairly flat and never rose to the level of the other top contests at Vengeance Day. The crowd was very clear in their desire to see Giulia versus Bayley, which may have been an easier bet than the four-way, and the crowd were behind the role model from the very start. Instead of Bayley, it appears NXT is already moving on to Giulia versus Grace instead, and this is just the start of Giulia's reign, as she'll have plenty of chances to face the best in NXT. If NXT doesn't go with Grace straight away for Giulia, she could face Roxanne Perez in what could be a send-off for the prodigy ahead of a move to the main roster. Giulia has already main evented 2 PLEs for NXT in a row, with Deadline being the only NXT show in 2024 where the women main evented a major event. The Beautiful Madness is already highly valued in NXT, and hopefully there are more main events to come for her, particularly with more story behind the action. Following the event, Jordynne Grace took to social media to share that she'll be on the next edition of NXT, and WWE also confirmed her upcoming appearance. This news solidifies that Grace, who rocked a We Are NXT shirt at Vengeance Day, will be a regular part of the brand going forward after officially signing with WWE. NXT Vengeance Day also saw a TNA influence as Santino Marella was around and part of a segment with Ariana Grace and NXT GM Ava. It was teased that Marella will meet with Ava to discuss future plans, and we'll have to see who else crosses the line, especially ahead of NXT Roadblock from MSG on March 11th. And that was NXT Vengeance Day, and what did you make of the event? Give your thoughts down in the comments section below.